Welcome to Heathen's Garage, folks. We got one of every kind in here today. We've got a Ford small block. We got a Chevy small block. And we got a Mopar small block. And right before your very eyes, we're pulling every single one apart. Howdy folks, I'm Heathen and this is Heathen's Garage. We got 3 small blocks and we're taking them all apart today. Now I've conscripted some help because doing 3 small block teardowns in one day seemed a little excessive, but I did want to do it quickly. Or rather, and I wanted to do it, you know what I mean. Now the Ford is the underdog here because it's only a 302. This I believe is a 350. It might even be a 4-bolt main, we're going to find that out. And this is my old 360 out of the Race Dakota, which we know is making noise. Now the Ford is totally unknown. We don't know what's wrong with it, or what happened to it, or why it was pulled out. The Chevy we know ran until it didn't run anymore. And this one we know has broken something because it makes a lot of noise. But it did drive itself in here. Without much further ado, I'm going to start tearing this thing down. And then shortly we'll have our friends come over. And they're going to tear down one, and one of them's going to tear down the other, and I'm going to tear down the Ford, because I've never taken a small block Ford apart. Today's the day. A bunch of rednecks in a barn taking an engine apart is not... It's not what you call natural, okay? You guys know me. This is Nephew Sam, the voice of Ford, Hot Rod Shane. You've seen us all. Also, a big thanks to my pops, who's on the right-hand side of the screen here, who stayed behind the camera for the next 3 hours and filmed us while we took engines apart. Now I'm going to work on the Ford. Ford's going to work on the Dodge. Shane's going to work on the Chevy. And we'll just see how that goes.
This engine originally came out of a 3/4 ton panel van, a 1979 variety. It was a beer delivery van for the brewery. On its not its maiden voyage, but one of his voyages to Calgary, the driver, which was not myself, discovered that along the QE2 there was a little red light on the dash, and that was the oil pressure light, and decided to disregard that light, and then soon found himself on the side of the road. It got rather hot. There's evidence of some heat dissipation. My dad and I replaced the engine in that van with a 307 out of a Camaro. And so it still runs and drives, but the engine has not been exhumed otherwise. So we're going to have some fun today taking it apart and seeing what actually failed.
So what are you using the van for?
Well, it's currently mostly...
Hot rod?
No, it's currently mostly parking lot decoration.
Well, as the die-hard Chevy guy in the midst, I want to know, does it have a 4-bolt main block? It might.
Well, you're pointed this way, so let's talk about the small block Ford. I don't know anything about it. I got it from Mark Barkley, who's Barkley Built on YouTube. You should check out his channel. Other than that, I know nothing about it because he didn't know anything about it. It cost, I think, $50. So I'm expecting great things, and it's going to be mint when we take it apart. Because, you know, $50 engines are always perfect.
So 302, timing RPM 500.
Needs a cam. Should be 1,000.
Yeah. Your idle set that low doesn't have a big enough cam, I agree with that. Ford, do you know the story on what happened to that truck?
No, I just know it's a small block Dodge. I've never had one apart. It looks like it's been given a lot of love. It's beautifully painted, Chevy, corporate black, and it's got some awesome valve covers on it, so it was obviously quick in its day.
It came off of...
Tell me the story.
Yeah, Sam knows the story.
Came off of that.
So what was the grenade scenario?
Yeah, Sam was there for it. He got to see all the knocking noises.
There was some big blow-by coming from the turbo. You're thinking it's a spun rod bearing, right?
I expect that's what we'll find.
What RPM did it go at?
It was not a go at. It was oh, this is losing oil pressure. Oh, this is getting noisier. Let's go home.
Okay, we're just checking to see if this engine still rotates.
Oh yeah.
Or do you?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to.
No, I don't think you'll be able to turn it that way, Sam. Oh, that one's not going in the right way. Intentionally cross-threading it.
You're setting me back. Sabotage.
Alright, let's see. Does it go round and round?
Does it go round and round?
That bar might be a little on the small side if it's at all stiff.
Looks stiff. Like, it goes
but
backwards,
it
that's good.
moves.
Yeah, but it only goes backwards so far.
Well, that's okay as long as we can align the rods to disconnect them.
I found a TDC mark.
Good job, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
You might want to keep your head a little further away from the guy who's putting all of his force onto two bolts that are about 3 threads in each.
So that's over 360.
Oh, and that's a broken bolt. Oh, you bent my bolt, man!
Oh, I bet the other one too?
These could be grade 5 bolts.
I'm
Better.
grade 5. I'm a grade 5.
Yeah,
Here you go. That's your grade 5 bolts.
they're grade 8.
And you get to grade 8, I'll give you a gold one.
Okay, we're beginning with the valve covers.
Well, show Shane because he's gonna have his valve covers off very quickly.
Yeah,
You'll have-
I'll take the
You'll
other
have
one.
intake
Ready,
manifold.
Sam?
3, 2, 1.
You want to put those on the table for me?
Now get a close up of the valve train there, Dad.
Well, the interior shows a little bit of moisture, probably from sitting and humidity due to climate change. No, everything is kind of related to climate change.
As far as stripping this, do you take any of this off?
Nothing terribly irregular about the valve train so far.
So far he's the
Typical
farthest
small
ahead.
block Chevy.
Alright, Sam, can I have a plastic baggie?
Okay, on the other baggie.
And looks like Ford here is about ready to pull a valve cover. He's being ever so careful.
I don't want to.
There's one of bolt here. Maybe you want
I don't want to spill my beer. Oh,
this
sorry.
one here.
I'm used to Chevys. That's the problem with the Chevy guy. That's why you
extra
need a
eyeballs,
Dodge
eh?
guy around.
So now we have a rocker shaft here,
Okay.
altogether different than the Chev.
Okay, now you Dodge guys, you pull the shaft and then the push
Well,
rod
we start loosening these bolts
gently across.
off,
Yes,
a certain amount of
Can't
time,
even
eh?
see the bolt through
That keeps the shaft
I
from
get that.
if it's
oil, I think
possible,
that is.
All right,
being bent.
Sam.
Oh,
Incidentally, nephew Sam was in charge of making sure everyone bagged and tagged all their bolts.
And then right on it.
Mr. Ford is not quite ready.
We're getting there.
One bolt.
I haven't used a ratchet since I was an apprentice.
Shane is well ahead of everybody.
Well,
Don't know why, but just seems to be a faster worker.
seems to be more efficient. That's right.
He's already
Could
working
be.
on taking the intake manifold off.
okay, so one comes, okay.
This is so nice.
This is one merciless
It was stuck.
disadvantage. These are actually a forged rocker, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And they are a cast rocker.
So
could be.
interesting. Yeah, they are.
And
And,
they are on a ball stud like the Chevy.
and I found with a really big cam and a 1.6 rocker and heavy valve springs and high RPM, sustained high RPM on the highway, like for long periods of time, I turned them like blue.
The
So-
springs?
No, the ball stud.
Oh, really?
The bottom of the
Probably a little
rocker
extra
turned
Too much
oil.
blue.
resistance there.
Yep, and so heavy valves, so factory valve springs, modest RPM, no problem. As soon as you go to high lift cams and heavy springs and high RPM, roller rockers.
So we're removing the rocker shaft here. And all those little rocker
From the Chevy.
arms are going to
No,
start
it's
flipping
a-
in every
From the
direction
Chevy.
It's a
Bring
really
it back,
good
Sam.
idea.
The right intake manifold on it?
to put it together as a unit on the bench and maintain.
Now,
the
how
order.
does the Dodge guy deal with when he does valve work that he's got a different preload on his valve lifters? Grind in the valve stems, or it doesn't matter?
Some guys do it. Typically, that's done when you get your heads done. You get your heads level or your
Oh,
valve
I see.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have the issue because the heads have been set
Yeah.
properly.
Okay.
Something interesting here is that the manifold actually on the Ford only are straight through into the head, whereas on Ford or on Chev and Dodge, the angle of the bolts holding the manifold down are at an angle and perpendicular to the surface of the head,
Very similar to a vortex.
not perpendicular.
A vortex runs 2 bolts in each corner on a small block vortex. Straight down like
Oh,
that.
they do.
Sam, can you grab me a blue pry bar?
Okay, what size? Big or small?
The smaller one is probably fine.
I guess there is a medium too.
Oh, well, a bigger one than that.
Okay, medium. This one?
That'll do dandy, thank you.
I think Ford by far is easier to pull the intake manifold.
The intake manifold is an advantage, but given how much trouble I had with the water pump off camera, I would not say that's a huge advantage.
Oh. Do you want me to like lift anywhere? Or?
Not yet, Sam.
Okay.
This will make the internet mad.
Those who make the most noise are usually the ones that are trying to draw attention to themselves.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
How old is this engine?
No,
There you go,
that
too.
looks like perhaps
70
you can try
something.
there.
70-something?
Well, this looks like I break that pretty quickly.
Is it loosened?
No.
Oh, would you care for a hand?
Yeah, let's try it.
Oh my!
Heavens be to Mercury.
This is the point.
Oh,
There it comes.
somebody meant it when they glued that one down.
Yep.
Dang near went through
There
there.
we go.
Let's be glad you didn't let go of that.
That's actually.
Oh, what a smell.
Yeah, but that's actually really clean in the valley. What's the
Man, that's a smell though. What is
Yeah.
going on?
Gasoline.
Yeah.
Gasoline.
It's varnished now, yeah.
Well, gasoline
Another
and mice,
difference
it looks
What-
like.
between the
and
Ford
that's
and
pretty
the
clean underneath.
Dodge
So
and the Chevy
I'm actually. This
The
is
sub-
very clean.
the intake packages and the port and
Oh,
the
eventually.
exhaust ports are all in the same distance apart.
What a smell.
So Chevy and Ford and Mopar both have the water pump timing cover, water on the pump on the outside of the timing cover.
Yes.
That threw me off when I did Rosalie's car. I inadvertently tossed the 255 timing cover into the bin, and then I had a EFI small block. It didn't have the fuel pump,
cover.
and then I was sad.
And there's the intake ports on the Chev, which are much the same as the Dodge. They're Siamese together.
Just to clarify what Pops was saying, these are the intake ports on a Ford, equally spaced. And this is the port spacing on the Chevy. Very similar on the Dodge. Sam, could you pass me a deep 9/16?
Alright.
I think I have your.
You took my red one?
Yeah.
You'll have to find it in the black box.
No.
Oh, there isn't one.
No, there's one.
I never brought my 3/8 universal.
Some of these are always going to be loose.
Just.
The valves are closed.
Yes.
I never brought.
If you
Okay, don't need it. We got our hand.
you don't need it, then we won't grab it, but we do.
Usually there's a really big difference between what you need and what you want.
I gotta find it.
Fair enough.
On the red box.
Number 8 cylinder is active in this one at
Oh,
this particular
boy.
point.
Oops.
See now, oddly enough, a Chevy guy, one of my favorite parts of the build is the ritual of setting the valve.
Oh, that's not a ritual I enjoy.
You can take that off if you want.
You can buy adjustable rockers for this one as well.
Yes, okay. You know, that would be when you have solid lifters.
Normally it's when you have solid, but often people do it just because they want to have the hydraulics almost to the top of their extension.
Yeah, because I think the spec is somewhere in around the 30. They spec 1/1000th of an inch, which when you do the math on the thread pitch works out to somewhere between 3/4 and 1 turn, or 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn on the bolt after the lifter starts moving.
Makes contact. Yeah.
I mean, sorry,
That's on the bottom circle of the camshaft.
on the other hand, the advantage of a Dodge is you put some heavy valve springs on and you don't have to redo your press-in rocker studs.
No, that hasn't been a
Converting.
problem with Dodgers.
Yeah.
They don't really tend to.
On
Can
the
I
other
keep these
hand, that
out?
was one of the experiments on the Gold Bullet, was to put a 500 thou lift cam in and tighten the factory valve springs up as far as you dared, and then run it and see if you pulled the stud. And I haven't pulled the stud on it yet, and I read it usually sees about over 5,000 RPM every time I drive it.
Yours all stuck, Shane?
They're not loose.
Awful. That must be terrible.
It's an interference thread. It's for
Yeah.
adjustment purposes.
Don't let them bother you there, Shane. It's all good. It's the Chevy ritual.
It's designed.
This very expensive ratchet is also very good.
Okay.
But is it still
intake
really good
coming off
quality? Do you want a
of
better
our-
one?
No, all of them is fine.
There is better ones available if you want. There's one with longer handles too.
You know
So we see
what
this
the
one
biggest
in
Chevy engine is?
appreciably better
You not.
condition. Nice clean
Or
port.
what's the biggest Chevy engine?
Similar to the
What did you know?
Chev port. Siamese together like that.
Very good. And someone's been in there with a die grinder and done some
Yes,
happy things.
We noticed that.
Yes,
and these
they
springs
have.
have dampers on them. So
Okay.
they're more like a. Not that every
Are these?
dampered spring is a performance spring, but I can tell you these are definitely performance
Are
springs.
they look a little heavier?
They are heavier.
Big
What's
What's
the
the
Dodge,
Dodge
Dodge,
numbering? It's
Same as the Chev.
Okay, it's same.
Ford has different
Ford's
positions.
different, isn't it?
Well, they're not different so much as they've numbered the cylinders differently.
Well, this is number one.
Well, and
Yeah.
on Dodge, this is number one,
Yeah.
and Chev.
You know, a Chevy guy crosses over to a Dodge really well on certain things, and then a Chevy
No
guy
trouble.
crosses over to a Ford on certain things, and vice versa for both.
Like with the valve train, so Ford used the same idea as individual studs for each one, like Chevy did. But then they bolt them down solid, so they're not adjustable anyways.
Oh, right.
So what's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
point
yeah,
of that?
that's right.
Like they may as well have done the same thing as Dodge.
That's true.
Like what they did was capitalize on the worst of both worlds there. By being not adjustable, and you have to undo more bolts to get it off.
Ready for a reveal over there almost.
You know about that bolt there, right?
Yes, Sam, I know about that bolt there.
Checking.
Working my way across.
Are you helping here, Sam?
Oh yeah, Sam's
Thank you,
helping.
thank you.
This is a
Keep him
bag.
busy. What did you write on that bag? Head bolts?
Yep.
Cool.
Head bolt, and then your name.
When you're done with that bag of head bolts, I need a bag of head bolts too there, Sam.
What's
Oops.
Yeah, because
That's
You're
good.
off your pin already.
Sam, I need you to
That
Chevy's
was
got
easy.
5
Watch out.
head bolts around
Look out, Sam.
each. And does the Ford? Oh, okay, so they're
Oh.
the same 10.
What do you see that you don't like? Oh, a little bit of moisture got in there. That's okay.
Yep.
I don't see any broken pistons. That's all right.
You know, if it wasn't for the dang fool
Actually,
rust,
there's not much ridge
it's
there.
workable.
Hey, these are closed chamber.
Did you look at this?
Oh, it's a higher compression.
Yeah, with
Well,
little
yeah,
baby
it is a little
valves.
bit.
That.
Closed chamber with baby valves.
That.
This one could
That's a-
really
that's a
have
Ford thing.
benefited from
Yeah.
a set of intake valves, and they're only 1.5 inch valves.
My
on
lovely
the-
bride's cousin brought down a
on
set
the
of
exhaust.
40 HO. This I know it's gonna be
Just checking for a ridge here. There doesn't seem to be too many.
One of your cutlasses?
Well, too much.
Yep.
I mean.
ultimate.
There is one, but
Yeah,
I've
but it-
seen worse.
It'll get- I don't think you need it. You could get away without a rebar.
Bag right
I
now.
think you might be right.
I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it. The engine got a little toasty.
Jeepers.
Also,
That might have
these
something to
ones
do
go
with it.
through to the water jacket.
Oh, well, then they had to be
That's right.
sealed.
Sinners.
Right, and so there's going to be a...
Sinners.
Dave, well, I think you're going to have to break it. Oh, you did already break
I
it.
did
loose.
crack
Oh,
it. All
You
right.
can see the deglazing, the cylinders in this one already still. But it was freshly rebuilt. Something went wrong. There you see the cross hatching in the cylinders.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a little score.
Oh my goodness, somebody was messing around with the...
Oh, and a valve hit the piston.
No, the barely hit.
Oh, no, you know, it's minor. This one hit maybe just a
Oh,
touch
yeah, you see,
harder.
that is
And
a
that
little
one
bit of
really
a-
kissed her properly.
That was a long time ago that happened.
Oh, that was before this round.
yeah, that is an old wound.
okay, that
Happily,
was,
the valves must be, well, with a 3/8 stem, it helps a little to keep them straight, but it's not very easy on them to.
I don't think I've ever.
Downfall of Ford. How are you supposed to get these out with your hands?
Actually, Dodge is the only one that you can actually hope to get underneath the lifter to press it out. Ford and Chev, neither one of them have very ready access to get at the bottom of the lifter.
And also, you can see the condition of it too, which is, you know, because
Without dismantling it further, you can see. So if you pull the intake manifold off of a Dodge, you can see if the camshaft is good or not. Whereas with Chev or Ford, it's very difficult to see if the camshaft is any good. Matter of fact, I would say it's impossible.
I always wondered why you were a Dodge guy. Now I know.
Well, there's a few advantages and then there's a few disadvantages.
The most beautiful car.
You didn't miss a valve or a headbolt
I
anyway.
don't think so.
You're just
Yeah, we got it.
Hey, Sam,
I spent a lot of time one time
Sam, you can start taking these
pulling a head off that was still bolted on.
I believe I give you a head pull.
things did go a bit nuclear in there.
Let's see.
It got warm.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
That's
fun?
exciting stuff. But you know, it was.
Not only so, but the valve started hitting for some reason on one cylinder. You see that?
Yeah, it does look like it. You know, I
Not
wonder,
everywhere else. But
wonder
that
if
one cylinder.
well, the stem, it would have stuck. Yeah, it got hot enough for the valve to stick. And this was actually a decent engine.
They
It's-
probably
it
did
started-
begin to stick after a point.
This
the
one's hot
exhaust
too,
valve.
because it started burning all the carbon. So did this one.
Yeah.
But as far as a ridge, this is a very good.
Yeah,
core.
there's nothing much wrong with
That's a
that.
good
I
core.
sure see the damage on that one piston.
Yeah, tagged it a couple times.
Likely the valves were sticking open on that cylinder.
You mean like as if it were to run out of oil pressure?
Oh, possibly yes. So here's the heads, the Ford heads. The manifold. And this is the Chev heads and manifold. You see the distance between the intake and the exhaust valve? When you go to the Dodge heads, you see that the distance between them is very slight. That's because the valves are much bigger than they are in the Chev and the Ford. Now these are 175, 1 3/4 inch valves, and probably a 1.5 inch exhaust. This is a 188 valve and a 150 exhaust, and this is a 202 valve. And I believe that it could be a 160 valve on that one, but I'm not positive. It could also be 1.5. I never measured.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do
202.
which is really a destructive video
160.
for whoever watching.
Okay, that confirms that. And you said these are 194 then?
Yep.
That's
The only
pretty good.
difference I've found is if you go to a fairly decent cam, like you get up to a comp, say XE274 for a street cam, what you wind up with is the 202 heads will make it a lot better above 5,000 RPM, but below that it's not that big a difference. Let's put it this way, not enough to make you go get 202s if they're not handy, in my opinion. Where's that?
Our battery's showing yellow here. What would you like to do?
in front of me because I'm like old and blind.
Just hit pause.
Right.
So after significant mocking from the young dudes, cord, hooked to wall,
Yeah,
Hooked
it
to
doesn't have
power
a battery.
plant
Where's the
somewhere.
battery? No battery.
no battery.
Let's see. Oh my. That is very serious. I
Needless
was
to say, it
expecting
worked.
a little bit more of a delay. Well, we're ready to pull the pan on the Ford.
The Ford, which we think is going to be good, because that looks pretty not.
It seems like
gross?
there's a lot of good things with this Ford.
Oh, I like how this. I've never had a small block Ford apart before.
The timing chain
Pump,
is so
bigger
loose
pump.
you could wrap it around twice. That's normal.
Is it a roller? Nope, it's
No,
not.
good old link chain. Yeah.
But there's no junk in the fan.
I've never seen a roller chain on a factory old school
Neither have I.
thingy, dinghy.
But having never pulled a Ford apart, I wondered if it would be.
One thing you'll notice is how delicate the bottom end looks compared to a lot of stuff because it's only a 3-inch stroke. It doesn't need all that meat.
I like it.
They're lovely.
I'm becoming a Ford guy as we speak.
Is that right?
No.
What the heck?
Do you notice the superior oil pump on the Dodge though? It has 5 bolts.
Okay.
Now this
That one
oil
might
pan
pose a
has a
problem.
slight problem.
There's a slight problem?
There's a little bit of damage. Somebody went inside there and pushed a hole through the outside.
It's a big
To
one.
the outside.
See?
Now we're going to find out how a battery. Oh, look at that! The battery impact
so
wrench is
baby.
no baby.
This is a baby bolt, though.
Oh,
It's
yes,
a
that's
little
true.
baby. It's not Chevy.
It's not Chevy size.
It's not Chevy baby though. Having said that, I've never had to buy a
Now
baby
there's
that
a
would fly out.
Chevy baby, and you can turn it out by half. Here we go, the oil pan on the shed with a big hole in it. And what do we see inside?
On a rod
Well,
bearing.
there's not too much serious wrong here. Mind you,
Rod bearing.
there's a bit of a disconnect on there.
Crank's a little hooped. Rod is splayed pretty good, so it's
I think the
kinda-
crankshaft is probably a
You're gonna wind up dropping the
Look at
piston
this.
this way
This
and
is your
using it.
remains of your bearing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That one's missing. That's the problem, guys.
So this,
Yeah, that's a problem.
and it's a 4-bolt main
This one
block,
only have
so,
been running on
It's actually
seven
worth saving.
Yeah,
cylinders.
no, blocks worth saving.
Well, it's because
Those
this is in
pieces.
here.
Yeah.
I,
That's
I,
not
All
supposed to
these
be in there.
pieces, yeah.
Well, that's.
There we
I
go.
doubt you have to worry about that. Like,
You
They
just put
made
it back
these in
together
6
again?
cylinders.
Okay.
And then there's milkshake up there.
Just take both of these out so it's balanced still.
yeah, right.
And
I've got a leftover
obviously on
set
account
of.
of
You've
the
got
battery
750.
oil pump, only 4 volts.
Oh man, it'd be funny to make a
Um,
4-man
this is a 4-bolt main though,
Yeah, that's good. See, it's good.
which is a real. Maybe the block is worthwhile. That would be worth trying out. As long as the connecting rod didn't do it some damage.
It'll have done minor damage.
Well,
It'll buff out.
I'll need to take some
Hey.
photographs of this as well, because
You-
there's a fella that was driving this particular vehicle.
This
at the
is
time.
what you've done to this vehicle without paying attention to an oil light.
That's like they built. Listen, they overbuilt them. There's a lot of metal in there.
Okay, there we go.
Just some extra.
There we
much
go.
less on the whole
Now, how fussy are you about stamping rods and stamping bearing caps and all of that?
Yours will be done already.
Okay.
And
I brought
that
a-
said, I'm not too worried about it.
The rods, no.
I'm only going to pull one on this one anyways.
No, is
But
that
you'll
long
definitely
enough,
want to make sure if these are not.
This is the problem
They have
on
an
these
arrow.
guys, right?
Oh, does it break down?
This guy, this little
Big
connector.
plate is what it's called.
Never had one break.
Never?
Nope.
I've seen
It
it.
looks kind of cheesy, but the one nice thing is every aftermarket one you buy, basically the big ones have a metal.
Yes, I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen those, but I've seen these. I've seen this break before.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be impressed with your Dodge there when you pull the shaft out there.
Yeah.
It's a hexagon shaft.
Oh,
there.
my goodness.
Off comes the timing case cover.
What do we see here? Anything interesting?
Now, you have very loose chain there.
It isn't that loose. It's fine.
No, no.
Look at-
and the
oh.
tinny little thing that Ford's
that-
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is not good. That's stripped.
No,
No,
I
no,
don't
it's-
think it is.
it's
That's
designed
intention.
to- yeah, it runs. It's oil. Yeah.
Really? That's the
Yeah.
offset fuel pump drive.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was asking.
Why
about
would
the,
it be loose?
Because it's meant to spin.
Got
on
it
itself.
concentric on it.
Yeah.
It's
Sam, you gotta stand back a little bit. You're getting paws all dirty.
Oh, dude, this is awesome. You can almost take the timing chain off without.
all right. We're about to pull a harmonic on the shed.
We'll see if we're about to pull it. This could be on there.
You think so?
I've had a couple that were.
Oh.
You have to like label your bag.
I expected to find a Lucy one.
Yes, I think that you were.
I really was.
Wind bag.
And I
I
did.
suspect that some oil passage got blocked.
Wind bag.
Yeah, but I don't find a loose one. I expected to have a damaged engine here.
And you still haven't found it.
Not yet.
Okay, what are you reaching?
4 or 5 thou. Not much wrong with that. I don't have any issue with it. I can't remember what the book said, but
Yeah, no,
that's
very
good.
little.
That's
I don't see a problem there.
Everybody stand back.
That's
Okay.
fine. It's gonna. thou. That's all it's gonna be.
$10 says we get to measure that with a ruler. How small? Let's have a wager. How far smaller do you think that is than than spec?
Like on which side of it?
Oh,
This side or this side?
no,
They're not the same.
Well, the smallest. What's the
All right,
smallest?
the
Because you always
smallest?
have to grind to the smallest, right?
Yeah.
What? It's not an eighth. I'm gonna go with 95 thou.
How long did he drive for with the oil pressure light on?
Some distance.
He had the stereo crank too loud.
He was hoping it would take him home.
I've done that.
He was on the way out, not the way in.
Oh, really? That is really strange.
He was delivering beer. He was on a mission from God.
I think it's gonna be out 60 thou.
All right, I'm in at 95. What are you in, Shane?
Unclear.
Just for the record, it was 55 thou, and I won the bet. Musicians, I think, say watermelon when they can't remember the word, so you don't notice. That's what I heard.
Like Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Watermelon.
Yep.
Bon Jovi, Living on a Watermelon.
I don't know if that's always the word they use. You having fun still, Shane, or are you sick of your job now?
I'm sad.
Green Day.
I'm pretty
American
excited
watermelon.
that it's a 4-bolt main.
Well, yes, there's that.
That goes in the wind watermelon tray.
I have to say, I'm much more impressed with the machine work in this Dodge than I am. Of course, that was predictable. wasn't
And
it?
I just used the
You decided you were impressed before we ever took those engines apart. You knew who you were going to like best.
Oh well.
What do you like more, Steve? Ford,
Okay,
Dodge, Chevy.
You got the cam for the fuel pump on.
I don't know.
Before this
How
started,
about the timing change?
before this started, you neglected to declare a conflict of interest and recuse yourself from it.
Oh boy!
That's complicated.
I don't think he's paid enough to necessarily,
Well, I checked with Dodge. and
admit
they-
anything.
I checked with Dodge, and they were willing to send me a little bit of commission, for
You mean Stellantis?
So they can sell some more 5.9 LA blocks?
Oh
Or?
well, no, just selling the quality of a 360 that must have been built into a 5.7 as well.
And there's a happy double roller.
That's
timing
true.
chain.
Now, that's about
I don't know whoever
that
built.
engine has at least 350,000 miles on it. But look at the condition of those gears.
Yeah.
All I can say is that the gentleman who built this
Or
engine
sprockets.
was a discriminating fellow. Nothing but the best.
Would you like me to remove the drive?
No, I don't want you to remove it.
I'm just asking.
I was just answering.
As you can see,
I'm doing something interesting and you're looking at boring things.
all right.
Look at all the junk I got in here. What did I got? What's this?
Just a few pieces.
Oh my.
They're plastic.
Possibly a part of a piston ring or a skirt.
They're plastic.
Or are they plastic? Then a seal, perhaps, or a seal retainer? Or are you sure they're plastic? That's a complete.
Circle.
Oh yeah, must have been. This is very interesting, actually. Oh, that's part of the seal.
This is silicone. That's silicone.
Oh, it's silicone. Right.
Oh, it's seal cone?
No, not
Yeah,
silicone.
silicone. That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's a good one,
That-
Sam.
that
I haven't
was
heard
that
anybody say
interesting.
silicone before.
Maybe.
Oh, there comes the timing chain on 350. And
It has the plastic gear.
this has a nylon ring.
Oh,
on
silent
the-
chain. That's the true deal.
And it has the loosey
Cam
goosey
sprocket
chain.
and-
Look at that.
Well,
Look at-
they're
Yeah, you
always
thought the
loose.
Ford was loose. Look at that one.
Oh, that
Well, it's
was
about as loose as the Ford.
like a cord blunt song or something.
I have to.
Now, unlike myself, Ford did like to take the time to actually measure things before we completely stripped it apart.
Pretty tight looking seal. And that's about what we're looking at. About 7,000.
It seems like a lot. I don't remember what it's supposed to be.
Well, it's the total
No, I
though,
think
between
seven's
two
good.
Three surfaces.
I think 7's good.
Speed wrench.
Have you got the
Now have.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
got a little bit of
there's a
chewy
little
juice.
bit. Yeah, it's not really gone through the Babbitt, but there's something in there.
The crank feels good, but it's
But the Babbitt's starting
Yeah.
to score. I feel an irregularity there on
Nothing out of the norm.
this. I don't feel like.
and
the
that
feeling
one's
of this.
definitely seen a little extra pressure on the
Oh,
top
certainly.
end.
It's run short of oil.
Broken on this engine.
Those are
Oh,
way
this-
worse than the ones I pulled out of it.
So our mains are getting loosened here as well. We're not taking them all the way out because we want to pull the connecting rods out first.
The old-fashioned way.
But it'll help it to turn over maybe.
Maybe.
Sometimes, you know, once they're worn in like that, they're pretty easy to turn over anyway. It's the piston rings that cause the resistance. So we're ready to pull the first rod bearing on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if it was better condition than the Dodge.
I can't remember what numbers you guys said.
Look at
so
that.
I'll say,
Now that's what
I'll
they
say-
should look
I'll
like.
say 70,000.
Got one score in it.
One little score from maybe a little debris or
I said
something,
100.
just a very
said
fine,
100.
but very little wear on that bearing.
$10. yeah.
We've got a loose rod here, that's for sure. Well, that was
We've got a
predictable.
couple more than loose.
Yeah.
There's one that's already done for
That
me.
one probably had about, I would say 120,000 clearance.
And what's it supposed to have? 20,000?
Well, less
Now
than
maybe
that.
about 3, 2.5,
Yeah.
2.
Nice thing though is you haven't. Ooh.
Watch your threads there.
Yep. Gentle.
The rod bolts are probably this one. Much heavier
Ooh.
rod bolts on the Dodge.
Yeah. Kind of like a small block
For all,
Chevy
for all the
almost.
good it did it.
Yeah. That wasn't the problem, was it? As it turns out.
This one's got seen better days.
What are you saying? Not coming out like you were hoping?
Oh no.
Try and catch it next time.
Very
I know what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
There
here
you
we
go,
got our
Ethan. There's
problem.
your spun rod bearing right there.
It got out of place and just started spinning
Just.
around inside the rod.
Bolts
There
tight?
she is. They seem to be, but it was hard getting the cap off.
Okay.
So it's gonna and you've got
Yeah, she's hot.
Scoring.
Well, I drove it home, so.
and
no surprise
that
there.
bolt I tapped it. Yeah,
Okay,
that
just
one
gonna-
is number 3.
You got your rubber. Oh, I guess you're not really protecting anything anymore, are you? Watch you don't cut yourself on that bearing.
Well, if we don't get some blood flowing here, Ed, I don't know if we're accomplishing anything.
Well, it might feel satisfying in some way to have your blood all over the engine, but
All right. And, oh yeah, that one's all one happy family.
I'm unhappy. family.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the spun bearing was actually about the least of the problems in this whole scenario.
Problem is,
So apparently that crank has probably got to have a little work, maybe somewhere along the way. Some.
somehow the bearing has glued itself to the upper and lower halves. They're glued together. They don't belong together.
The
But
cap wasn't on backwards or anything silly. did you?
No.
Okay.
Nope, it's fine. No, I haven't found anything that would.
see here, it's all
I
kind of
wonder
melted
if you
itself
found that.
together too.
Yeah.
You're probably just.
But then your
looking
oil
at the-
pressure quit as soon as that spun.
You're
But why
probably
did it
just
spin?
kind of contending with something called lots of power. Maybe. I
I
don't know.
don't know.
It ran
I-
way too long on the other set of bearings to believe that, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh, okay. Same power.
Yeah, well, and the rod bearings were fine.
Watch you cut yourself
Yeah,
on that.
Is this rod bent?
That could be it. You might need a
It does
resize.
look that way, yep.
It's got a wobble in it.
Yeah,
Just
that
pull that
rod's
out there.
bent. Look at that
Oh,
thing.
yeah, but did it bend because of or as a result of?
So there you
Or,
go.
did
That
it
looks
cause
like a
it?
mighty bent rod.
On the plus side, that rod looked way better than the rod that we then pulled out of Shane's small block Chevy. Yeah, be the camera guy. Doesn't take a video of the most interesting piston.
This one's damaged a little bit,
Seen better days.
and
Moly!
I think probably we'll need to replace some parts here.
There might be one or two things that you have to.
Watch you don't cut your wrist when you start pushing on it. If it lets
that wrist
go
pin
on you.
that wrist pin is tight too.
Yeah. I think probably that
And your back weld.
maybe another set of pistons might help.
Well,
here.
between the two of
Maybe
these
even
engines, we'll
rods,
have
you know?
I can walk it off when the lens blow coming from
How does the cylinder look?
if I put
Like it doesn't feel terrible.
Nothing surprising here, is there?
Nope. This one looks just fine.
Well, I think of all the engines, the Ford is in best condition.
Which isn't a huge surprise given the fact that we just didn't know anything. We knew the other two were broken.
Yeah. This one could have probably continued.
I expect this was a serviceable thing unless
Yeah.
something changes. Now about that time, the GoPro died. Nephew Sam and Pops, they had to take off for supper, and well, we carried at it for a few more minutes, knocking the rest of the pistons out. This is the final result of the Ford. It looks like a crankshaft. It goes round and round. There's no real marks in it. Nothing too worrisome there. We got a stack of pistons, some heads, other parts. This is the small block Chevy with the pistons removed. And it actually still barely turns. There's still a bearing half on there. It's not so good. These are the pistons. That one's really not good. The rest of them are okay. The heads and all the other miscellaneous junk are here. And this is the small block Mopar, which, if you can see that, it's crank as toast as well. These are some pistons. If you didn't get a good view before, that's not straight. This one is straight. See, straight and not straight. It's pretty easy to see in person. Come here, buddy. Yeah, you missed out on all the action, hey Elvis? Come here, little bear. Yeah, you guys missed out on Sunday Fun Day, huh? Not quite fair, is it? Not quite fair. Well, folks, where does that leave us, eh? We got small block Chevy that's, well, we're crossing our fingers that the block's good. We got a small block Dodge that, well, we're crossing the fingers if the block's good. We got a small block Ford that appears to be good. Like, no signs of anything major gone wrong. So where does that leave a person? Like, what do you do with that information? What am I supposed to do with these engines? Why don't you post in the comments how we're supposed to build these engines? Because I'd really like to know. Like, in the end, budget will determine what we do here. But, like these two at least, the Chevy and the Dodge, I don't know what I'm going to do with. I may have plans for the Ford already, though. You can see that in a future episode of Heathen's Garage. I want to thank you guys for watching and checking us out and subscribing if you do that. And hey, if you want to support the channel, go to heathensgarage.com. You can pick up a shirt like this or shirt like something else, or no, I'm wearing a Cruise Culture toque. You can go to cruisecultureapparel.com. You can get toque from them. You can get toque from me too, but it won't say Cruise Culture on it. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.